Oh man, I've tussled with that one a couple of times, and I guess for me, so I think there's also a difference between a mission and a meaning. So the mission for me is to better people, better business, but the meaning for me is for me to be content within myself.
My name is Paul Harvey, and this is Life, Passion and Business. We're about helping you explore, finding your passion for life and the work that you do. But it's so much more than that. It's about finding clues to the big life questions. What does it mean to be successful? What is the meaning of life? If you're looking for more, then join me on this journey where together we will discover through interviews, tools and tips how to live life full of meaning, passion and purpose. Welcome to the program. Now, networking has always been a natural human desire. And while there are exceptions, most successful people out there are those with expansive networks and connections. To connect is part of the human condition. However, 2020 has been the year that redefined what it means to network, particularly in business. As a long-term user of social media channels, I have watched the pattern change over the last few months. At the beginning of lockdown, many of the social channels went quiet. People were unsure what to post and how to behave. However, since it became clear that COVID is going nowhere, my LinkedIn channel has exploded with people looking to replace their networking options using this online platform. Now, full marks for action, but is it the right action? Random spamming is not going to win friends or build relationships. What they want is sales. Now, sales for many people is a dirty word, but the fact remains everything we do in life that involves money or a transaction is the result of a sale. So this podcast with Matt Clark is very relevant in a post-COVID world, as making sales will be key for many businesses returning to life after lockdown. If you need to drive sales and not be sleazy, this is worth a listen. My guest on the show is Matt Clark, known to many as the LinkedIn Rainmaker. Now, he discovered from an early age that he loved to sell. As a young 18-year-old from South Africa living in the UK, he landed a door-to-door sales job. He was knocking on doors selling gas and electricity. But he had the spark and the zest for it. He was good with the customers and meeting his targets. Regularly earning close on £1,000 a week, he knew he had found his role in life. It was big money for a young man, particularly as he came from a poor background. This job opened the opportunity for travel and discovery. Now, do you remember Maslow and his hierarchy of needs? Once our basic needs are met, most people look towards self-improvement. Matthew was no exception. He used his resources well. Fast forward a few years and back in South Africa, he co-founded a telecom sales company at the age of 23 and grew it to more than 6 million in sales in just 3 years. You guessed it, they did this with door-to-door sales. But here's the thing, instead of enjoying his success, he ended up completely burnt out. That business could not function without him. He was the kingpin. And they had built this business using physical paper systems, not a computer in sight. He stopped knocking on physical doors and worked out how he could do it virtually. It is the story of his journey into sales automation using online systems and networking skills. While this is about making sales, it's about connecting with people and creating real relationships. I hope you enjoy the conversation with Matt Clark. I am delighted today to be with Matthew Clark, and he is the Rainmaker for LinkedIn. So we're going to hear all about that one. He has the Rainmaker system. I want to know more about this. And also, he's got an amazing story, I think. So thanks for taking the time to be with me today, Matt.
Thanks for having me on.
How did you get to where you are now?
which part of it do you want to hear?
Well, look, this is Life, Passion and Business. And what the story is here, we all are looking for what was the passion that drove you to do what you do? You know, there has to be a driving factor behind this. And it's like, we're trying to actually identify what it is about the human condition. How do we stay motivated, get motivated? And passion seems to be one of the driving factors here.
Definitely. And it was interesting because, you know, I didn't even know that I had a passion for this until we kind of got into it, you know, and I think there's a lot of people out there like that where, you know, I'm not one of these people who knew like one day I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be a LinkedIn expert and we're going to help people grow their businesses. You know? Whereas some people just know, they know what they're good at and they go and pursue
Most people's life doesn't operate like that. And when you look back, can you see the zigzag journey that got you to here? But you never 100%. Know where you're going to end up. Yeah.
100%. So the interesting thing is my journey actually started out in the UK in doing door-to-door sales, selling gas and electric door-to-door. And I actually landed up in a castle in Scotland, not too far from where you are right now, but in Inverness, where we did some training for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so after we got trained there, we landed up going back to our relevant areas. I landed up in High Wycombe. And that's kind of where the journey started, where I learned that I love to sell. I love to connect with people. I became pretty good at it as well. You know, obviously you've got to put a lot of time and effort and energy and practice into it. But I found it was something that I really connected to.
Let me get this straight. You were doing door to door selling kind of gas and electric to people, like normal householders.
Yeah, and I loved it.
That is got to be, I mean, you know, from my perspective, that's got to be the gutter position in sales.
Yeah. Well, that's what most people would think. But, you know, when you walk away with a check of between, you know, 500 and 1,800 pounds a week, it's not that bad, is it?
No, it's good. No.
And, you know, I think I was like 18 at the time and, you know, we went out and
that was serious money at 18. How many years ago are we talking about now?
So now we're talking, how old am I now? I'm 33 now. So what is that? 15 years ago?
That's a significant amount of money at that time, isn't it? Really? Yes, that's a good salary. You did well.
No. It was amazing. It was amazing. You know, like I got to live the life that I wanted. I got to travel. I got to experience a whole bunch of cool things. I mean, we worked hard. Yeah. You know, at the office at 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes back at 10 p.m. at night. And if we didn't hit our goals during the week, then you'd be working on a Saturday and a Sunday as well.
Right.
You know, so it got intense, but I found that I never worked on a Saturday and Sunday.
So it certainly
taught
you
motivation.
Well, it certainly taught you some focus, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely. And also it's like, get it done and sell, you know, like let's hit some targets and let's make some money.
Okay.
And it was fun. You know, I actually found all my pay slips the other day. And it was just crazy to go back and actually see what I was doing, the kind of revenue I was making. It was an interesting time, man.
And so I'm guessing here the focus and the desire and the passion was money at this point. You were certainly, I mean, at age it is, isn't it? That age.
I love the sale. You know, the money was great. I mean, you know, I kind of grew up in a place where we didn't have an abundance of money. Okay. You know, my mom was like the only person who had the work and who provided for everybody. My dad didn't have work for a bunch of years. And so for me, money was like, I just never wanted to be in that position. You know, I don't dream of being a billionaire and I get, you know, it would be nice, but it's not my burning desire. And so, you know, for me, I was always like, I want to be able to live a good life. I want to be able to travel. And some of the things that I loved was being able to connect with people. And it was that whole interaction.
Right.
So like one of my highest values is relationships. And it's the relationships, not like always just, you know, husband and wife and that kind of thing, but between people.
Yeah.
Like I value my friends. I value the people I meet. I love to mix, you know, business and relationships where a lot of the people that are clients, we become good friends. So for me, that part of it really worked for me. I found I could really connect with people. And then I started reading more books and understanding myself better and understanding my personality type and how I interact and how I do certain things.
Yeah.
And that's really the things that fascinated me. And that effort then producing a result.
Yes.
And so, you know, when I left the UK, I was there for about a year. I came back to South Africa, did a bunch of like really crappy jobs that I absolutely hated. And this one that I landed myself in was doing corporate clothing and gift sales.
Okay.
And I just said to someone, I went to the recruitment agency and I was like, guys, I want a job where I can just sell. I just give me commission and let me just go and sell. Mm-hmm. And they put me in a call center first. And I was like, no, that's not going to work. And then I landed up in this other thing and I kind of did well. But I got to a stage and one day I got a call from the guy that I used to work for in the UK. Yeah. He phoned me up. It was on a Tuesday. He said, Matt, you've got to come and see me. We're selling stuff. We're back in South Africa. We're selling stuff. And it is the easiest thing. And we're making a ton of money doing it. I was like, okay, when do I come and see you? He's like, tomorrow. So he phoned me on the Tuesday. I went and saw him on the Wednesday. I quit my job the Wednesday afternoon and I left. And I never looked back. And, we started selling telephone systems door to door, business to business.
Okay.
And that journey, I went on that journey for about 8 years. And in the last 4 years of that journey, I actually partnered with two friends of mine. And we built up a pretty significant size company. We were doing, I don't know, what is that? 5 million pounds a year in revenue within 4 years.
Wow. Was that a particularly growth market in that time? Was there a lot of catching up to do in South Africa in the phone systems?
Yeah, partly, but we also just had such a good sales process. And, we used to go and target the cities outside of the main cities.
Right.
And people were in desperate need of the services and no one was servicing them. So we came with a fantastic service and we delivered and they loved it.
It's great. I don't know a lot about South Africa, I must admit, but I'm guessing it is a mature market in places, but I'm guessing there's also there's so much room for development in places.
Definitely. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it was so interesting. So a couple of years down the line, and we built that business entirely on door-to-door, no marketing, no advertising whatsoever. Right?
It was fun. You don't hear about that sort of stuff anymore, do you? Because most businesses are built on the back of big advertising or lots of digital stuff these days, not door-to-door pounding.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. And this is actually, it's funny because this is actually one of the key factors for our success using LinkedIn, right?
Right.
And, what happened with that company was that I found that we got to a stage where we were just, selling boxes and it was very unfulfilling. And also what started happening was that, how we made money became less important than actually making money. And so, the values started slipping and customer service started slipping and it was just about money, money, money all the time. And I was like, guys, I'm not down for this anymore. I need something different. And so I sold my shares and they carried on with the business and, still very successful. And I decided I wanted to do something different.
Right.
I wanted to live that, laptop lifestyle, travel the world, make money while you sleep, all of those good things. And I heard that the internet is the place to do it. Now, bearing in mind, this is probably weird for a 26-year-old dude, is that I hadn't opened a computer for 8 years. I knew nothing about it. Everything we did was literally handwritten on credit application forms.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, I've got to learn this stuff and I want to build a business. But it turns out, working from anywhere means you work from everywhere. And quite honestly, it's just a crap idea. Like if I'm on the beach, I don't want to be sitting with my laptop, right?
What you also discover when you try the laptop lifestyle, and I tried it a couple of years back, not for the sake of wanting to, but I had to. I had to be down south for quite a lot of period of time.
Okay.
And you can't find good connection. It's really hard to find decent Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I know, right? And especially if you're running calls, it's crazy. And so we just started building this up and I got into the online marketing world and I saw this program called Infusionsoft, right? And I looked at this and I saw, because I was doing this, a lot of the speakers were coming out to South Africa, all these American speakers, they were living the life, making the money. And I was like, yeah, this is what I want, And I saw they were all using this tool called Infusionsoft. So I started diving into it. And I was like, this thing is amazing. It can do what I used to have 60 staff members doing, but without the staff members. It's like no sick leave, no getting pregnant, no losing your phone one day, not pitching up to work. I was like, this is the best.
Yep.
And so I started implementing it. And now I didn't have a business at the time. So I started helping other people grow their business and automate. And because I could see how it worked, I just didn't have a business to work it on. And we started helping people grow. And what we found was that we could help them automate their business, but then there's a piece missing. And that piece is leads. how do we generate some more leads? And we went out and we tried to figure out Facebook, and it worked sometimes, it didn't work other times. It was hit and miss for us. We tried the Google ads, and it was the same thing. It was hit and miss. You're relying on likes and algorithms, and you've got to be like a ninja to get the stuff right. Or that's what it felt like anyways. And then, as if by chance, one of my friends in Australia actually shared with me what she's doing on LinkedIn. And she said, you've got to try this out. And so I went on and I implemented a few things that she did. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because what started happening was that I realized the biggest thing that I wanted to do was to be able to just speak to my ideal clients. Yes. Without having to build websites and funnels and all the other crap that you've got to do nowadays and with paid ads. If I know from door knocking, if I get in front of somebody, there's a high chance that they're going to buy if they're the right person.
Okay.
And so on LinkedIn, I realized I could just do that. And what I started doing was I started virtually knocking doors every single day. Right?
That's brilliant.
Yeah. I was knocking 20 doors a day. And what happened was that I started getting responses and people were connecting. I started having conversations with the owners of the businesses. And from there, I was actually able to, get them on a sales call and then convert them into a paying customer. And I was like, this is the easiest thing I've ever done. And I don't even have to leave home. Right? So I started at 20 doors a day. I went up to 60 doors a day. We started doing, 10 sales calls, 10 to 15 sales calls a month. Now it's at a stage where we built this thing up where it's now 10 to 15 sales calls a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's stunning. And it's all ideal clients. That's the best part about it. And so when I was going through this, I figured, there's probably some other people that need this as well. Mm-hmm. And we started helping people. And that's when I started realizing, what I really love is I love seeing people make a transformation. Okay. And through the discovery of seeing people, they would start getting results. Like they'd come to me and they'd be stuck. And then they'd start getting results. And for me, it's always been easy to sell. It's always been, well, I won't say easy to sell and make money, but I built the skill over a period of time.
Yeah.
So it was easier for me than for a lot of other people because I had the experience. And a lot of the people that were coming to me didn't have that experience. They couldn't sell. They didn't know how to generate leads. They weren't going to go and knock doors. It was like the scariest thing ever for them, or cold call. Right?
Well, that's the thing today. A lot of people look at their phone and never answer it. Who's phoning me?
100%. Yeah.
I don't recognize that number. I'm not answering that.
100%. And, so we looked at that and we just started, helping people. And one by one, we started helping them. And then we realized, well, there's something here. We've got to do it a little bit differently. We can't just do it one-to-one all the time.
Yeah.
And we have to build a system.
Right.
And that's what we did. I mean, there's a couple of other stories in between there that'll shed some more light and a lot more fun in there. But that's the basis of it. And, I realized like now my personal motto and my personal mission in life is to create better business by creating better people.
Right. Better people in what sense?
Well, if people lift their own level, change their mindset, do things that they wouldn't normally do, they become better people, and therefore they do better business. So everything raises: your integrity, your sales, your connection, your communication, your relationships,
yes, of course.
How much you make, right? Yes. All of it increases. And then what you do with that once you've got it, because, no one likes an asshole. Straight up. And having more money makes you more of who you are. So you've got to fundamentally look at who you are as a person, because money is just going to amplify that.
Yes, that's what happens, isn't it? Money amplifies the good and the bad, of course. In people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the what you've created now, what is it that you create? Is it a sales process for people to use, a training?
Yeah.
What actually is it?
Yeah, so there's it happens in a couple of ways, right? So we've created an online training, and that was the first thing. So how it actually all came about was that we were helping people one-on-one.
Right.
And we just realized like we can't grow this, we can't scale it. What started happening is that we could only work with a maximum of 10 people at a time. Our revenue was on a roller coaster all the time. It was nuts. Yeah. Because you're either marketing and selling, picking up clients, then you got to deliver and you take your eye off the ball of marketing and selling. you're like, oh shit, I need money. And then you go out and sell. And so it's constant roller coaster. And so what I did was in December 2017, I did a post out into a group that had, a good deal of our ideal clients. We'd just been to a massive event. I had a picture with the main guy at the event, and I did a post and I said, guys, in the spirit of giving, I am putting together a free training that'll help you achieve a certain result. I'm going to give it away. I'm putting together a training. I'm going to give it away for free to a couple of people so that we can get testimonials, and I'll be charging for this afterwards. What's the number one thing you want to learn? So one is how to get more clients from Facebook. 2 is how to implement systems so your business can grow without everything relying on you.
Yep.
And 3 was how to get high quality clients from LinkedIn. And we had over 245 comments. We made $70,000 in 1 week by pre-selling the courses. And then I was faced with a different problem. I was like, oh shit, I better go and create this course now.
Yeah, and it better work as well.
Exactly. So I rushed home back to South Africa and we started creating the course. So it first started off as an online training. So at the moment, there's a couple of different levels on how we help people, depending on where they're at. So level 1 is, you're coming in, you need more leads, you want to grow your business. Perfect. We've got an online training with some group support that we can help you get there. And we've gone and we've written all the copy, we've written all the messaging, we've written everything that you can literally just go and edit for your business and get going.
Brilliant.
Right? So we made it super simple. The whole mindset behind this was you don't need to have a website. You don't need to be a marketing expert. You don't need to be a copywriting expert. You don't need to learn ads. You don't need to build funnels. You don't need any of that stuff. Anyone can do it.
That would be very attractive to a lot of people.
Absolutely. And it's simple and direct, right? You cut the learning curve and increase the results curve. And so that's level 1. Level 2 is where we take it a step further, where we show you how to build the system to generate leads, but then also how to automate the lead generation, and then how to put a closing process in the back end, because we've found a very particular way on how to turn people from connections into paying customers.
Wow. Okay.
Right? And the beautiful part about this is it's predictable and it's repeatable, which means that, we work with some organizations that have sales teams. Yeah. So they get their teams on the system and their teams can just go through the process, which means that each one of their team members now become a profit center, right? And a source of lead generation.
Wow.
But also if, you're a one-man show at the moment, right? You can put these processes in place, then hire somebody to come in and start taking it over. Now you double up your efforts, you double up your sales, bring in another person that takes over from you, create more time, grow the business. Now you've got a process that you can scale.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the next level up, it focuses on the business as a whole. So we go a lot deeper we focus on systems, we focus on creating a proper plan, getting the right positioning, creating a high ticket offer that's scalable.
Yeah.
We focus on creating the right message, doing market research, putting in sales systems and marketing systems and the tech that you need as well. So it's kind of evolved, and we've almost come full circle back to include what we did in the thinking of what we did in the Infusionsoft side of things. We don't use necessarily Infusionsoft all the time. If it's a good fit, yes. If it's not, we use something else. But we brought that thinking and packaged that all together. And it's stunning. We're seeing incredible results. Like people are 10xing their business in a year, having an 800% increase in sales in 2 months.
Wow.
We had one guy triple his business in 1 month with 10 salespeople. They tripled the business in a month.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I've had a lady who's gone from, she was working as a waitress before part-time to pay bills before COVID happened. And in 5 weeks, she brought on 4 clients at $4,800 each.
She
made 20 grand during COVID.
I bet
she's a relationship coach.
I suspect you're going to be highly sought after over the next few months.
I hope so, because we can help a lot of people. So
this is a fascinating story, and I think the danger is here. See, I'm a marketer, so I could get geeked out on this, and we could get talking about it. So the danger is I have to rein myself in, not ask too many questions, because that's not what this is about. So clearly, your success model is not about money. It was about money at one stage.
Yeah,
it moved. So I think you may have already said, but what would you define as your success model these days? What does success mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, so I believe success is a couple of. It's not just one thing; it's three things. In fact,
Yeah.
It's wealth, meaning, and freedom. Right? That I can tick all three of those boxes. So wealth, in terms of not just making money, but have your money making money where you've got true wealth.
Yeah.
So that's the part I'm busy working on at the moment. Great at making money, great at spending money. Right? Now I'm just changing what I spend my money on. Now we're changing it to spending it on investments instead of crap. Right? So building the wealth. The meaning for me comes in where I see people transform their lives. Where they literally come in, like the lady I gave you an example. She was a waitress struggling to pay bills. She was just like, I need this, I'm committing, I need a payment plan, let's go. And her whole life has changed.
So for me. I need to just hold you there because I want to merge something here, because there's another question I normally ask, but it sounds like you're answering two questions in one go. So would you say this is success and contribution are very linked for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all three: wealth, meaning, and freedom.
Yeah. Carry on then, because that's the contribute. Because that's my third question: is what is your contribution? And you're talking about it, so I don't want to go back and ask it.
100%. Yeah, it's interesting. Some people are very philanthropic, and they give a lot of their money and they give a lot of their wealth and all the rest. I'm trying to get all of that sorted so that I can do more of that, but I also take care of the people close to me. So I do it in my own way as well.
Yeah.
Because for me, what gets me going is I love to see people's lives change. Like in South Africa, we're very fortunate that we've got domestic workers, right?
Yeah.
That are really cheap in comparison with what I've seen people pay around the world.
Yeah.
And, I've been able to, she's been off for the past 2 months, 2.5 months, 3 months, whatever it is. And, I've been able to pay her full salary. I've been able to pay all my staff full salary. The business has grown. So it's been beautiful to be able to say to everybody, listen, you guys are all taken care of. Don't worry. If you need anything, reach out. That's been really cool. But also from a point of view that our clients are doing better, which means that they're also in that position to take care of everything. I don't have a single client that's had to lay anybody off. I lie. That's not true. Some of my clients have just got, I'm talking like 3 of them. They've just got businesses that just shut down completely. And even then, because of their values and who they are, they made a plan somehow. So we even attract people like that, which is beautiful. And then, the freedom, which is what we're also busy building right now, which is, I don't want to be working ridiculous hours every day. I want to create a platform whereby we can bring people in that can shine in their own ways, build the company up, and I move out from being in the business to working on the business and then going creating more.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yep. It's pretty exciting.
So that clearly is where you're up to, is the success model and the contribution. The whole thing is very much tied in together for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So what is the one question that I haven't asked you that I should have done?
Man, and it's so interesting because it's different in different contexts, right? Like some people, we go really deep on the LinkedIn system, and then there's one specific question that no one asks, that only one person's asked.
What's that one?
What do you consider as a lead? Because everyone talks about getting leads, but no one actually defines what is a lead.
Do you know that is the biggest challenge I think every business has, and I think it's the one challenge that no one ever really deals with properly. Yeah. Because I could say for the same myself, I in my marketing business, I have a variety of clients, and if I was to focus on one particular client, I will be much more successful as a marketeer than I currently am. Yeah. But I also have the same problem with clients. Who's your top client? Well, it's this. I go, no, that's not your top client.
Anyone that can pay me money. That's my best one, right? That's my best one.
Yes. As long as I got a pulse, that's the answer, isn't it?
Yeah. And money to spend. But yeah, I mean, I would say one question that hasn't been asked is like, what is a pretty good question to ask.
What is a lead? What do you define as a good lead?
So for me, what I define as a good lead is it is my ideal client. So I've gone niche down to an industry. They're at a certain level in their business, right? So we've clearly defined who it is that we want to target.
Yep.
Then I have positioned my LinkedIn profile as something that speaks directly to them, that calls them out. So as an example, my headline, which is what LinkedIn calls it, I call it a pickup line, right? Is I help coaches, consultants, and advisors get 2 to 5 high-value leads per day from LinkedIn without paying for ads.
Very precise. It's definitely
precise.
It's definitely worth talking to you about.
100%. Now, the rest of my profile is also set up for conversion. So what I define as a lead is a coach, consultant, or advisor that's looking to grow their business. Maybe they got a team, looked at my profile. They've said, yes, I really like what you said. Okay. We've had an initial conversation. I've said to them, look, this is what we do. These are the kind of results we help people get. Are you interested in getting on a call to see if we can help you get results like this?
Yeah.
And they've said yes, and they've given me their email address and their cell phone number. For me, that's a lead. Yes,
it is, and it is a lead because they are actively interested in what you want.
It's warm.
Yeah, and they, by the sounds of it, can afford to take advantage of it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's the criteria of a lead. I mean, too many people chase prospects that are not leads.
100%. And then they'll end up spending hours and hours on sales calls, and speaking to people who are just broke or don't have money or not a good fit, or looking for something completely different. Whereas we have like between a 60 and 80% conversion rate.
Yeah,
and that's because we're trying to filter people out the whole way through.
And there's nothing worse than getting the wrong client, the one that really doesn't have the money to pay you, and therefore gives you constant jip about what's not working.
100%. But that's also your fault for bringing them in, because
of course it is.
As much as you've got to have, and we've all done it, right? I mean, we've all done it. And as much as you've got your list of who you will work with, you've also got to say who you won't work with.
Yes.
And when people start ticking those boxes, no. That's when you start running, because it's just too much headache, man. And we went down that road.
If everybody, it's the same thing as like in the questions I pose on this podcast. If everybody had an answer to these questions, they would lead a better life. But it's the same as that. It's the same in a business. If you knew who your ideal client was and you only worked with your ideal client, you'd have a better business.
100%. Sometimes it just takes, some people just get it right from the beginning. Some people, you need to beat them over the head with the baseball bat for a while. And sometimes that person is you that needs to beat yourself over the head with the baseball bat for a while.
Yeah.
We did it for a couple of years.
And we've all been there, and we all have
We've all done it.
We all have to go through that process and discover it ourselves.
We've all done it. Yeah, absolutely.
So look, we come into that stage now. So obviously people reach out to you for LinkedIn. Now that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's if they want to get a hold of you, LinkedIn's the place.
LinkedIn's definitely the place. And so there's a couple of ways. And so one is through LinkedIn, Matt Clark SA.
Yep.
And so, very simple. And what I'd like to ask is, if you are going to reach out to me, send a message as well, so I know where you're connecting from. And let me know that you saw me on Paul's podcast, and I can give him some feedback on that. Because I'm on a bunch of podcasts, and I love giving that kind of feedback so that everyone knows, because we also send out to our connections as well, right?
Yeah.
And so the second way is, can I give them something? Can I give them a gift?
Yes, of course you can.
Will that work for you? Yeah?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So on my website, I have got something that we've put together called the 20-minute profile makeover. Mm-hmm. Which does what it says on the box, right? Gives you a profile makeover in 20 minutes that can actually get you results now. So you go to my website, www.thevirtualedge.com, go and download that. There's a training afterwards as well. It's about a 47-minute training. And you can go and implement the work that's on there. There's no sales pitch or anything there. And really the reasoning behind that is, come and get to know me a bit more. If you like what we do, you like what we see, book a call. Let's have a conversation, see how we can help you move it forward.
Brilliant. Okay, so we'll have those links on the podcast page. They'll be on the podcast app, and they'll also be on the podcast page when it goes live. So that'll be fine.
Thank you.
So moving into the last question that we ask all of our guests, because you see, humans, we are born to this earth as animals, and we live, eat, shit, and die. We live, eat, shit, and die. That's all we do. But only humans are arrogant enough.
There's one more thing though.
Well, maybe there is, but we're only humans are arrogant enough to presume there is a reason or a purpose to our existence. For you, what is the meaning of life?
Oh man, I've tussled with that one a couple of times, and I guess for me, so I think there's also a difference between a mission and a meaning. So the mission for me is to better people, better business, but the meaning for me is for me to be content within myself, and to it's always such a tough one because it changes all the time.
Well, the point is, no disrespect, but you're a bit young for the answer. You're going to have a perception of where you are now. And
my meaning of life right now is have a good time.
And I know if you'd asked me that question when I was your age, I'd have gone, well, it's just have a good laugh, isn't it? Or something, or something suitably flippant. So you have probably got a better answer than I had at your age. I mean, I'm 57. I'm 57 this year. So, and you're 32. Yeah. So there's a big difference in us, and it's the journey you've been on. And I think that's a lot of that aspect.
But I think it's actually simple. Yeah, it's actually pretty simple. Is to enjoy every moment.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is for me. It's to enjoy every moment.
I think the best answer that I established from all the guests I've spoken to is life has absolutely no meaning whatsoever other than the meaning that you choose to give it.
Yeah, perception. Beautiful.
Because that's it, really. And it's like, because everybody makes their own choice and gives their meaning to it.
That's exactly
it. For some people, it might be their garden. For some people, it might be their kids. I mean, one of my meanings is changing. My meaning is my 18-year-old, who was 18 yesterday, he leaves for college in like 6 weeks' time. And it's like, one of my meanings is just walking out the door. And all right, he'll always be in my life, but his day-to-day life has nothing to do with me now.
Well, I think that's very interesting in what you're describing, because what you're describing is more your values than your meaning. And so, then because your values change all the time, right? And you've got to reevaluate literally reevaluate your values as you go through. And I've seen mine change. I don't know if you've ever done any of John DeMartini's work.
Not familiar.
Dr. John DeMartini. Okay.
Not familiar.
Really, really cool. He does some stuff on values determination. And what are the things that are important in your life? And it's funny, he says, the things that you surround yourself with the most are the things that you value the most. And there is actually an order of the things that you value the most. And when you are in a state of flow is when you are doing things to your highest value, when your values are aligned with everything that you're doing. And that's when you're in flow. And so, he always tells the story, and he's like, some people, like at a seminar, he was telling people to do a values exercise. And the one lady was like, I don't have any values. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm here, all the rest. Turns out her number one value was to be a great mom.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And so I think the meaning, for me, meaning and values are different. Values, absolutely, like your son has been your value it's been a top value for years, and now all of a sudden it's changing.
Yeah.
Meaning of life, I think that answer is fantastic. It's different for every person. For me, it's definitely to enjoy every moment.
Well, this has been a great conversation, and I've certainly enjoyed the moments we've had together today. So thank you so much, Matt, for
Thanks for having me on.
Taking the time to be with me. It's been a great conversation.
That's been fantastic. Thank you for having me on. Great questions.
You never know. We may come back again. I may pop back again at some in a couple of years and see and check out if your values have shifted.
They will. I mean, I'm about to get married, and we'll have kids coming up soon, and so I'm pretty sure that they will.
I'm sure that does actually cause a lot of shifting. Actually, that does shift a lot of stuff. But
100%.
I can't even begin to explain how that shifts things, because I before I had a child, I couldn't eat a whole one. So there you go.
Nice. I love it.
On that savoury note, I will say goodbye. Thank you for your time. It's been fantastic. All the best.
Thanks for having me on, Paul.
Cheers. And that was Life, Passion and Business with Paul Harvey and my guest Matt Clark. If you would like to connect with Matt, you can find him on LinkedIn and on Facebook, or at the company website thevirtualedge.com. Do make sure you connect with him by direct message and let him know how you discovered him through the podcast at Life, Passion and Business. And that's it for today's program. Just one more thing for you. The 5 questions. Have you considered exploring them for yourself? You see, when we know who we are and what we want, it opens the door to opportunity. If that is something that you would like to explore, I've put together a simple 5 questions worksheet. You can find it at the homepage of the website, lifepassionandbusiness.com, or you can check out the link in the show notes. So that really is it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your time and attention. I will catch you later. All the best.